Hello world, hello Zion. It's Prince Easy coming at you again, once more. And as usual, I do have a couple slides that I wanna share with you. Right? So let's get to them. So I think this can only be made worse if they, I don't know, extend the retirement age. Right? We all know why they're doing that. Well, because they ate the money. That's why. Not because there is shortage of nothing, right? So on top of taking jobs, now it's taking mental health, apparently, right? There was a case that I heard. I'm not sure if it is a psyop or not, but there's a case that exists out there that a person was manipulated by a chatbot into, basically he was driven into suicide. Yeah, I don't know what game he's playing at. Yeah, I think we all know that these supposed chosen people here by influencers, it's quite obvious by their loss of, I don't know, humanity. I don't know how this is supervised, but it's a problem, right? And the solution for this can be a great start, right? Most people don't know this. So, the guy, right? Of course, the hidden hand. If you see any portrait and a character has that hidden hand over there, that means they are Masons, and whatever agenda they were undertaking was in their name, right? And of course, he has to be of their blood, right? The split chin and all. Right? So let me translate for you. The Maasai people, who are majority are found in East Africa, Kenya and Tanzania, and even Uganda, mostly, right? That's the highest concentration of there, right? So what he says is that the Maasai, they are from Iraq originally, right? What we call Iraq today. That's where they are from, right? They came down to Egypt, to Sudan, to Eritrea, right? Right, I hope you get that, right? That's the Instagram of this guy here, right? He's learned. I can say that, right? He's learned. So this is our history, brothers and sisters, right? The Maasai came from Iraq. How about that? So I don't know about the copyright of this situation, but again, viewer disclaimer, is it? Right? Fair use disclaimer, that is, right? For review purposes. Owned by black people. The Redstone family. They're Ashkenazi who own BET. And now, look what's on BET. I mean, a lot of it's negative stereotypes and stuff like that. If black people own their own media, they wouldn't allow a lot of negative stereotypes even on there. Now, let's go back to American black culture back like 1950s, 1960s. They had very low divorce rates. They all dressed really nice. They were all polite and everything like that, you know, and with any culture. But control over their media. Yeah, for those who are sharp and keen, my guy here is literally walking on eggshells. You know, that's the problem with today, with everything, right? People cannot freely say what they want to say. And that's a dangerous thing, right? Well, I don't care, really, right? That's why my channel is how it is, right? But again, I think it is healthy for me, personally. Right? What they did is healthy for me, personally. Right? But again, when he's talking about race and in America especially, yeah, you can see the guy, he means well, but he can sense like he's walking on eggshells, right? Especially when he reached that polite part, right? He figured, you know what? This might not be the way to go. But anyway, let's proceed. And started profiting off their own demise. Because I remember even hearing Kanye West talking about this, like 1990s. That's when all this like gangster stuff coming out. Yeah. And they had all these like self-demeaning music videos and everything like that. Missy Elliott and calling herself a bitch. They're all using the N-word and stuff like that. It's all like self-depreciation. But you have another group of people destroying somebody else's culture. And first of all, nigger is not an N-word. It's not a cuss word. It's an identity of a people's, melanated people's. How did that turn into a cuss word? Hey, leave it to the Americans and their whole, I don't know what you call it. Making a ton of money in the process. Right. And that's not right. They're making them look bad. BET and all that, they should own their own media. Everyone should own their own media. But when you don't own your own media, that's when others get to exploit you for their own profit and to your own demise, man. And they control you, basically. They control you. They control which way you vote and everything through that, too. Yeah, so be careful, right? You might have a reinforced stereotype of black people, and that's a dangerous situation, right? And to say the least, we are all the same. We're all the same, values and all that, right? Well, here is Hitler and the industrialists, right, with giving each other the third knuckle handshake, right? You cannot understand this world if you cannot understand the Masons. These are the people that engineer every single aspect of the dynamics of world and the world as you know it, right? So he was a member. Hitler was doing the bidding of these hidden hands. They're not so hidden, right? They're literally right there. Right there. You just need to know how to recognize them, right? So by that handshake, it shows that Hitler reached the 33rd degree because he's bracing the third knuckle, right? Pointing toward the third knuckle, right? That's a weird handshake, right? It's a Masonic handshake. So one, an American capitalist, another one, supposed annihilator of the world, and they're all Masons. How convenient is that? And there's another religious group that is connected to these people and their values and all that, right? Just like the industrialists on the rest. Krupp was called, Krupp or something like that. Krupp. I think the name is, I don't know. Yeah, the Krupp, right? This is a family. If you want to know about their bloodlines, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that people are catching on, right? Yeah. Of course, they have to re-edit, right? Because these are rituals, right? If you have seen the Superman movie, it's a ritual, right? They have the Gemini and everything in there, right? There are two Supermans. That's exactly what is happening in real life, literally. What they're talking about, what Lex Luthor was doing, starting a whole war so as they can create a environment so as people can turn against the supposed Superman. Right? This is what is going on right now, literally. Right? Look at what happened with those two Asian countries, right? Bombing each other over temples, right? That literally happened just a few days after I talked about, okay, you know what? I was talking about the Middle East at that particular point, right? And I say like, okay, buildings be damned, you know, if you have lost your humanity and all this, like people didn't understand it. That's why I didn't get engaged in the whole situation. Right? Because this is literally a spiritual warfare going on here. This is literally a spiritual warfare, and that they are telling you what is going on, and people are not catching on. They're slow, right? They're slow, right? But the Superman movie is literally reflecting real life, not in a political sense, no, in a spiritual warfare sense. Right? This Lex Luthor created a Superman, right? And there is a real Superman. Counterparts, right? The angel of darkness pretending to be the angel of light, measuring himself up to be like Michael or something. You know? But that's, again, they're just deceiving themselves, right? So again, they had to supposedly edit that whole speech. That speech that is literally the core of the movie. I don't know how the movie will proceed from hence, but again. So this is now circulating, right? People are now starting to ask the questions that I literally posed way back, you know, and it was all about fuel. It was all about fuel, you know, fuel. Like if they can't travel here on Earth for millions and millions of miles, how can they do it out there? Like literally, please, you know. And of course, he's gonna use Kenya and Nigeria and South Africa as their, you know, pilot. If not so, then maybe Congo. Right? Those are the candidates that he chooses to launch his psychopathic warfare against the children of God. So this guy here does a body language, right? That whole meeting, for people who are literally awake, they can literally see it from the meeting that these people are literally not that excited to tell us about whatever the hell happened, right? They should be ecstatic about it, right? But they look depressed. Right? They look depressed, you know. But again, there are many questions, you know. The Van Allen belt, the clues are out there, right? And now they're talking about, I don't know, reshaping the size of Africa, you know. People don't understand the meaning of these things, you know. What happens when they change, you know. Why did they do it in the first place, right? Racism is part of it, right? Geopolitical importance and whatnot. Maybe that's what it is, right? Every country wants to put their continent in the center of the map. That used to be a thing apparently back then. That's what guided these geologists, right? Or what, cartographers, or what is that what they're called, right? The people who make maps, right? They were infiltrated by politics even since since back then, right? So yeah. So this is why this region here says the story of Africa. This is why, especially Tanzania, right? Because it has samples of all the peoples of Africa in one area, living in harmony without any civil war in terms of tribalism or any type of civil war for that matter. So that has significance. How did we pull it off, and how did our neighbors fail, right? How did other nations fail, and how did we pull it off? It's literally, I'm a Tanzanian, it never comes up. Right? I might be consulted to give my tribe's name, but it's not like an important aspect of life. Like, I might be denied something because of my tribe. No, never. So, yeah. Right? So they are, of course, right? This is them just tongue twisting, right? Now they say this guy apparently derived gravity, because again, gravity has not been proven, right? No matter what people tell you out there, it has not been proven, right? So this guy made an attempt to say that he derived, like the title says, right? He derived gravity from electromagnetism, right? Meaning two forces are attracting each other. Hence, that's literally his defining mass. But hey, we'll get there slowly. We'll get there, okay? How many are these? This is the funniest. I can't even, But they have given up the authority to Trump. That's what has happened. Right? Sooner or later, the world is going to come to terms with that. Right? And this is not good for your economy, Kenya. This is my advice. It's literally the button to crumble the economies. The president of peace now is sending warships to Venezuela. I don't know. Maybe he consulted the American people. Somebody should be asking about this. Right? He done doubled the bounty to what? 100 million? This is the real life here, brothers and sisters. Yeah? This is not even fiction. This is not even, he is the dark Superman, right? He is the dark Superman, the creation of Lex Luthor, right? Or rather, Elon Musk. I'm joking, right? But not really. Right? Yeah, they say there are actually 4 alien species on Earth. And this is what they're trying to sell you in the halls of Congress. Right? And I don't know if people are paying attention or just thinking, oh, maybe these are just distractions. Huh? Maybe this is just the grandest of distractions. Well, it used to be that your neutrality was your safety. Now, I don't know, I'm not a genius, but I don't know what would make you safe. The move against Brazil and the action that I see from Japan towards North Korea, yeah, somebody is preparing for a larger war. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Okay. So be wary. And if they start something, end it quick. So more and more are accepting migrants. Should come back. I don't know. Maybe it will have a unforeseen consequence of checking egos these days. Look at that. It's all Zionist and stuff. Anyway, you know the routine, you know the madness that I share with you. The usual madness that we see happening every day. And most people don't really understand why it is happening. Well, that's why we're here, aren't we? So anyway, I will put a pin on it right there. Chris Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.